Aloha, it's your boy Neglected Gundam. I hope you weren't too lonely without me. Today we will be looking at the Master Grade Crossbone Gundam Full Cloth. This Gundam does come from Build Divers, and without further ado, let's get started.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
Now, the first thing that you'll notice with this guy is his custom paint job. There is a reason for that, and there is a theme for this build. So my brother saw that back in 2016 or 17, I was building a lot of Gundams for myself, for my own personal collection. So he asked me, could you please build a Gundam for me? Along with that build, he gave me free liberty to do whatever I wanted. So I could pick whatever Gundam I wanted in whatever paint job I wanted. So I wanted to do something that would match our living room at the time, because at that time we lived in an apartment, and he said that he was going to live there for the next 10 years. So he said how cool would it be to get something that matches that aesthetic. Since we lived so close to Tampa Bay, our theme in our living room was pirates. We loved Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we actually had a signed helmet from them as well. So what I did was I went to Oldsmar, which is just outside of Tampa. It was my favorite Gundam shop, and it's still there today. It's in a flea market, and it's called Gundam from Japan. While I was in that shop, I went ahead and bought the Master Grade Crossbone Gundam Full Cloth because he's literally a pirate. And I thought, how cool would that be to have a pirate in our pirate-themed living room? So now, as you can see in these pictures here, you'll see that the walls, the couch, the table, the floor, pretty much everything, even the plant in the corner, was an inspiration for me to pick the colors for this suit. Alright, so since I had the theme down and what I wanted to accomplish, well, there was a couple shortcuts I took with this kit. Mainly because it was a kit for my brother and it wasn't something that was going to be on my main shelf. I didn't want to pour too much attention into the smaller details like maybe seam lines or third-party water slides. Looking back on it, I could have put a little more effort into it. However, I am very happy with the way that it came out. So even though I took some shortcuts, I'm still happy with the suit. However, in the future, I probably won't be taking those shortcuts. Alright, so for the color theory on this guy is I wanted to go ahead and incorporate pretty much most of the colors that weren't going to be changing in our living room to be incorporated in this suit. It was basically like the floor, the couch, the TV, the stand, the table, the plant in the side, and also the sunset was an inspiration as well because we used to have the colors in our window coming in from the sunset. So I wanted to go ahead and make this guy appealing and not jarring when you look at him. So when you look at him, you just want to keep looking at him. So I went ahead and separated those colors out. And the reason why I put the bright colors on his, let's just call upper legs and then his arms, is because that would be visible through the cloak when he has it on. And I thought that would be pretty cool because I didn't want him to just fade away and those colors disappear in blackness under the cape. I wanted there to be a color that shined through that as well. And his feet were so exposed, I didn't care about the darker colors there. That's fine with the lower legs. And then also the body was so covered up by the cape, you know, I just left those like darker colors and darker tones and things like that. Alright, now on to the fun part of how I got the colors the way I got them. It's really cool. So all the white that you see on the kit is actually just the bare plastic, and then I just did a top coat on that. So very simple with that. Moving on, I went down to the blue pieces, and so I basically just had a blue color that I mixed up and then added just a little bit of chrome silver in there to give it a metallic color. And then we did have like a black TV and just gray accents on that and all over the place, so I went ahead and did the black and the gray and kind of mixed those up to make those look good. Then I did have the off-white for the walls. It's a little more yellowish, and that matched our walls pretty well. And then what I wanted to go ahead and do was do the Buccaneer's helmet. So on his chest piece, you see kind of like that metallic Buccaneer's color. And I will admit, the red for the skull and bones on mine is a little bit brighter. It should have been a little more maroon, I think it should have been. But I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. So the weapons was actually a custom color that I did, and to get that pitted pewter look, I went ahead and sprayed those with a base coat of black, and then all I did was take a metallic spray can and I just spritzed it over the top of that, and it really gave that nice old pitted pewter look, like it's just pretty old. Did the same thing with gold as well. And then for the thing that really probably just draws the most attention to the kit is the wood. How did I do the wood? So that was a learning process in itself. I had never done that before. I was going to match the table that was in the center of the room, but I decided I didn't want to do that and I wanted a lighter color, so I went with wood as if those pieces were just carved from a gigantic tree. So I did that. And so you'll see here that I did the wood in one base color, and then I did two accent colors, and I did them in lines, the lighter line above the darker line. So I went ahead and kept that theme all the way down, and then I just took a Gundam marker, just a regular black Gundam marker, and put all the black lines on there to give it the age rings of the tree. However, I was really afraid to do this, and I thought I was going to mess up, so I took my time with it. On the first couple pieces, I think I did the long, narrow, skinny pieces, also the weapons, and then the collar pieces. But, you know, the big ticket item is going to be the full cloth, like the big, big pieces. And so I did the first two, and then they came out looking really good. I was afraid to do the back cloths, so I just remember one really rainy day, I slammed a beer and I just did it. And I think that calmed my nerves down. It didn't make my hands shake or anything, they were still steady. It just calmed my nerves enough to just get it done and just have that confidence. Alright, and then you'll actually see on the collar we have what I like to say is like, it's like almost bloody, and I really love that look. So I just painted that with a black base coat, and then just got my brush. I just got paint on a brush and just kind of blotched it on and made it look so good. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about this kit. And then also you'll see his mouthpiece moves up and down. That'd be cool to put like white teeth in his mouth and then just make his mouth bloody. So I kind of made him like a zombie version. So I thought that was pretty cool too. So that was just on the fly. I made that decision. But then on the front of the weapons, you'll see on the Peacock Smasher, it is a little bloody there as well, as if he fired at point blank range and just exploded blood right onto the tips of it. I thought that was really cool for this guy, especially him being a pirate. So then any green that you see on the kit, especially on his head for the chin and the fin there, I went ahead and made that like the leaves of a tree. So that was my inspiration of that, where that color came from. And then for his eyes, I did the red. And then for his thrusters, I kind of had the idea of the sunset, so I went with like a purple and orange for the thrusters. I am not that excited about the thrusters, I gotta admit. They are not as vibrant as I wanted them to be. But hey, what are you gonna do? Alright, one thing about this kit is he has a lot of weapons. So, if you buy this guy, make sure you have a lot of plastic bags, because there's a lot of extra goodies with him. Alright, so if you are a Gundam modeler that likes to put all their weapons on their mobile suit, this guy might not be for you. But if you want a guy with as many weapons as possible for as many poses as you want to do, he's for you. This guy's pretty awesome with all his weapons. So we have the shield here. So on his hand here, you just take this part and plug it in. And then the shield goes on the front of that. This is pretty versatile. You can keep it in the front of his arm, or you can rotate it to the back. And if you put it on the back of his arm, it's a little more traditional like that. Most Gundams have it on the back of their arm. Very cool shield that he has there. I love it. Then you just put this piece in here. And if he's going to punch you, he's got the beam saber in the front of his hand. And that piece actually comes in two. You just put them together. But you can put those on both his hands as well. And then in the back of his calves, he does have the handles for his blades. You get two of those. Very unique weapon. But if you do paint, you want to be careful because they could scratch. And then those same blades can be put in the bottom of his feet, which makes for some really cool kicking poses. And then more hidden weapons is in the back of the skirt, you have the white pieces. And that plugs into the grapple, kind of the claw. And then I did the bloody paint job on that as well. I really like that.
And you get another longer one as well. So if you wanted to, he could fire 2. Another hidden weapon are these chains. And also the front skirts. You plug that right into the ball joint in the front of his front skirts and it can fire off. And he can do 2 at once if he wanted to. Crazy weapon. And then also we have the pieces from his shoulders where the wood cloths go on either side, and he can wear those as like boxing gloves. That's a really cool weapon as well. For the beam sabers, I went ahead and did a paint job of kind of the sky and the grass. So you have the hot white in the bottom, followed by the hot blue, and then it switches to green just to change it up a little bit. And then what I really love is the cutlass. I love this weapon. For the cutlass, I have the custom paint job, so I matched the gold on the outside and I did the pitted pewter on the inside. The handle of this is the wood color as well. So I went ahead and did the blood coloring on the edge of this blade, and then you plug the beam saber effects in. And it's cool because these pieces were pink, but then I used clear orange and clear yellow and a little bit of white. You can't even see the pink at all, but I love those beam effects. And the same with the Bucks symbol. I have the Bucks colors there for the helmet and then the red as well. We have the gold and the pitted pewter and the woods down there in the handle. Love this weapon. Then we have the pirate pistol here. I did the camera in the candy coat red, surrounded by the wood, and that of course has the pitted pewter. I just separated out those colors. But just be careful when you do plug it into the hand. Your paint job, it might get chipped. And then last but not least, but probably the most unique weapon, it looks like a crossbow, but it's like a beam shotgun. And each one of those can be separated out, kind of like the tail of a peacock, which is why this weapon is called the Peacock Smasher. Such a cool weapon, I love it. So unique. And then I did the wood on the inside, so I just did the brown, and then that's inside the gold as well. I could have probably put a little more colors in there, but this project took pretty long and it was for my brother, so you know what, I said, I'm just going to get it done, and I didn't separate the colors out. But you know what, I love this weapon. And then there also is a hidden weapon where you need to take both weapons, the cutlass and also the pistol. You take the pistol, you fold it, you're going to rotate this part here, you spin it around, or in my case, just take it apart and put it back together. But ultimately you spin it around, put it back there, and then you put these two pieces together. So, very unique weapon. It looks pretty intense. But ultimately, I love all these weapons. You can pull off a lot of cool poses. Alright, so what's my final verdict on this suit? As a model that I've painted and I have it on display, I absolutely love this suit. I love the colors that I chose, and I love the paint job. However, this suit is not without flaws, so if you're just a modeler and wants to put it together, you're going to have to worry about some things. So first off, this guy does not have a PC runner. So some people say that's a plus. However, this guy is a little bit loose in some places. So as you can see, the head, it's just a little bit loose. This comes off so easily. In fact, I almost lost it during this video many times. So I just put that back on. So these here are also very loose. To maximize the movement while it has the full cloth on, those will move out of the way. However, it will support the weight of just the pauldron, but when you put the full cloth on, it won't. And sometimes it likes to tip over. It's just that this suit is not that tight. And then here, since I put these on and I painted them, I don't really want to fiddle with this and scratch it, trying to get it off. So I disconnect these pieces with the pegs in the front, and you can put them back in. No big deal, but I just don't ever take these wood pieces off. And while you have these pieces on, it creates a gap right here, so you can't actually close that. You have to take these pieces off, and then you can close it. But as soon as you put it on, it does create that little gap there. So, small minor issues with the suit. It is still a good suit. I love it. It does have a dynamic range of poses that you can pull off with all the weapons, so just keep in mind that it does show its age just a little bit, mainly because there's no PC runner, and when the parts come together, they are just a little bit loose. I thought that painting would have solved that problem, but it didn't, so just keep that in mind. But I do recommend this suit to anyone that likes the Crossbone Gundam. It is a fun suit, and as you can see, you can customize it and make it your own. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video today. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. If you would like to comment, go ahead and comment and like the video today. So if you want to go on this journey with us, go ahead and subscribe, come along the journey. I do have a lot of builds that I'm doing. I am more of a work in progress channel, and we will see those builds come to life. So until next time, I hope you don't feel that neglected now.
As a disclaimer, if you do have problems with alcohol, please don't do that. Please seek help if you need help with that. I don't have a problem with alcohol, so I just slammed that beer and got it done. It calmed my nerves. It worked for me. I don't suggest slamming a beer if you know you have problems with alcohol.